Welcome to Joburgtv News. I am Makubeni with your top story. As many as 1 in 6 South Africans suffer from anxiety, depression and substance abuse problems, and that is according to statistics released by the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. Our reporter Precious Mola has filed a report.
South Africa and social media has been abuzz with the topic of depression following the death of superstar Double HP, who was said to have been suffering from depression. Experts say mental health state in South Africa has reached a crisis level. According to South African Depression and Anxiety Group, 1 in 3 have a mental health problem.
Well, what we know about depression, and yes, there isn't enough updated data and research around depression in the country, again, because not a lot of money or investment goes into research in mental health specifically. But what we do know is that 1 in 3 South Africans will or do have a mental health issue, with depression being the most common mental illness that people suffer. And this is not only in South Africa, but it's around the world. We also know that 23 completed suicides every single day in the country, and the leading cause for suicide is untreated or undiagnosed depression.
Chambers says there is not enough awareness in communities about depression. She further says only 25% depressed people have access to mental health treatment.
It's such an important question that there isn't enough awareness or information in the Black community about depression. And again, there isn't a Zulu word for depression. Therefore, it's not a real illness. I mean, how often times do we hear, just snap out of it or think positively? It's not seen as a real illness. And I think there's a lot of stigma associated to someone who would be feeling depressed. You're too scared to tell your parents. You're too scared to tell your family or the community because you're going to be treated differently. They're going to call you crazy and weak and think that something's wrong with you. So it's so important that we raise awareness in communities. When we've got so many South Africans suffering from a mental health issue, only 25% of people with a mental health issue have access to treatment.
SADC says the leading cause of depression is a combination of issues. However, financial problems, relationship problems, and traumas are the most common reasons which lead to depression. Furthermore, they say depression is even more prevalent around the festive season, as there are a lot of pressures in communities.
Reasons and the trends that people are calling in as to why they're feeling depressed or why they're feeling suicidal, it's normally a combination of issues. It's never just one thing that causes someone to feel suicidal. We know that depression is the leading cause for suicide, so that's definitely a common trend. Relationships, problems in relationships, whether it be family, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, even best friends, have a big significant role. We also know that trauma in South Africa, where we have such a high crime rate, abuse, rape, gender-based violence, that's a big contributing factor to someone thinking or feeling depressed.
Furthermore, Chambers says there is a direct link between depression and suicide. She says it is a concern since suicide rates continue to be on the rise in South Africa. According to SADC, 23 people commit suicide daily in the country. Meanwhile, SADC calls on government to invest more resources on mental health, and also they call for those who are suffering from depression to get help. I'm Precious Mola, Joburgtv News.
That's all we have for you this afternoon from myself and the rest of the Joburgtv News team. Until next time.